lovely good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Chat on a beautiful Tuesday like this one. Knowing that it's Lunchtime Chat, of course, you are probably cooking something or trying to prepare something. So I hope whatever you're cooking is something that you will enjoy. Now, on Lunchtime Chat, we get to look at a number of issues. We get to look at the education sector. We get to look at agriculture sector. We get to look at even the affairs of young people and just the participation of young people in various developmental projects. My name is Taizi Achela, and you can simply send a text message or give me a call using the number that is appearing on your screen. We are live on Facebook. Get to like our Facebook page, which is KVN TV, and search for us. We're on DSTV channel 279, on GoTV channel 27, and Topstar channel 102. So like I mentioned, the reason we get to have Lunchtime Chat is because we want to look at different issues. Of course, issues that will either help us develop this country or probably also get to address some of the challenges that we are facing as a nation. Now, on Lunchtime Chat this afternoon, we're looking at the role of the young people in Zambia's development. Reason we're looking at this because if you look at the constitution, according to Zambia's constitution, any person below the ages of 35, that's between 15 and 35, that person is considered to be a youth. And in most cases, you find young people are either left out, in as much as we always say we want to see youth participating in different issues that affect them. But you get to look at even the person who's just the youth minister is somebody who's not a youth, is somebody who's way older. So we get to look at just why we feel young people are not really given that just opportunity to participate in Zambia's development. In the studio, I'm joined by Lazarous Simukoko, who is the Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson, coming from Citizen First. Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Chat.
Good afternoon, Madam Taizi, and good afternoon to our viewers.
Okay, how's your lunch?
Yeah, the lunch is awesome, but so though you have challenges here and there because there is no food and some people are not having lunch at this moment, they just said, no, you're going to have supper because there is no food in homes.
So since you say there's no food in homes, what are you supposed to do as a young person?
As a young person, you look at how expensive things have become, you look at how hard life has become, and you sit down and then begin thinking, what am I going to do as a young person? Then you say, okay, is there a place where I can go and start work? Is there a place where I can do something and then I find something which can give me food? Then when you look around the environment itself, it's not favoring the youth. So in terms of the youth, I think this is the time they are facing the hardest challenge in the country. It has never, we have never experienced this before in the country. Okay,
you've talked about it. This is the time that young people are facing challenges. Maybe if you can also just mention some of those same challenges you're talking about the young people are facing.
When you look at the young people in the country, you are going to look at one is a young people is out there working. The answer would be a no. Most of them are not working at this moment. When you look at the challenges they are facing, you look at them, are they affording to go somewhere and earn a living? Are they able to wake up in the morning and say, okay, today I need to deal with my investment, tomorrow I need to deal with this, tomorrow I need to deal with that? They are not having money to even deal with investment. When you look at even a forest, we say mitinkula empanga, according to the Bembas. So when you look at the young people, you look at the kind of life they are living today, and you see how the kind of the people are going to have in the next generation. You're going to see that there is quite a lot of things which are supposed to be done. So young people currently are facing the challenges which have never been experienced before. Look at unemployment rate, you look at the people who are facing challenges, you look at the issue to do with drug abuse. I think it's the young people are engaged in that because there is no any other avenue where they can be able to look at and say, okay, I think this is where the challenge is and this is where challenges are being faced. But I'm coming from the Citizens First, and in the Citizens First, when you look at where I'm coming from, we have proposed to the people and we have said a country like Zambia, whose population is increasing at this rate, there is need to create more jobs. How do you create jobs? You need to come up with industries. What kind of industries do you need to come up with? You need to make sure that in Lusaka, what don't we have? In the Copper Belt, what are they lacking? In Central Province, what do they need to have? When you create industries which will begin producing clothes, Madam Taizia, the beautiful dress you are putting on wasn't manufactured by a Zambian company. You look at the clothes I'm putting on haven't been manufactured by a Zambian company. Probably they have been imported. We import almost everything in this country. That is why we are saying when you begin creating industries, it's obvious you are going to be creating jobs in the process. You look at the agriculture sector where most youths are supposed to be involved. It has been destroyed by the government. Looking at the kind of inputs they are supplying to the farmers. Looking at the number of bags of fertilizer they are giving to the farmers. And President Hakainde Hichilema is on record when before elections were held, he was promising the young people to say, if you are a young person, when you see me, all you need to do is shout Badi, and the employment will be new. And when you look at that, I think you are able to see that a lot of people are looking for jobs. They have no jobs. You look at the agriculture sector, President Hakainde Hichilema promised the people that a bag of fertilizer, a 50 kg bag, will be bought at 250 kwacha. But today, it's more than 1,500. Now, you look at the young person walking on the street. Ask the person, do you have...
You mentioned the bag is more than 1,500?
Yes. A bag of fertilizer.
Or a bag of fertilizer.
A bag of fertilizer, not a bag of millimio, actually. A bag of fertilizer is beyond that amount. So, when you look at a young person walking on the street, ask the person, how much are you having today? The young person will tell you, I actually have nothing on me. How is that person expected to involve him or herself in farming? When you look at the prices of commodities like cooking oil, you look at commodities like millimio, the prices have increased compared to what we were promised as young people. So it's a situation where they promised to say this is what is going to happen. And young people rose and said, I think these promises are the promises that we need. I think the president stands for us. But at this moment, nothing of that kind is happening. So those are the challenges which the young people are facing in society.
Okay, you've talked about the young people being promised a number of things. Do you think in most cases young people are only used as tools of violence compared to being used as people that can probably help develop this country?
I wouldn't say anyone is being used, and it would be very much difficult for me to generalize because there are others who are civil, others are not. I think
because the reason why I asked that, you find even during campaigns, most young people are used.
That's obvious. When you look at the population of Zambia, it's dominated by youths or young people. So when you look at that, you'll be like, okay, I think we need somebody to work in the security. Of course, they're going to look at the youth who has been going to the gym, a youth who has been, they are going to say, okay, we want you to be in security. When a notorious political party wants to send some people to go and fight somewhere there, they'll look at which people are we going to send. They can't send somebody who can't manage to run. They automatically are not going to do so. They will look at which person can we send. They automatically, the answer will drive you to a youth. But I wouldn't say that has been the case, but there has been a deliberate move by the government to deprive the rights of the youths, so that during that time, youths are used as tools of violence. Today, if a youth has everything, money, properties, and everything, that young person cannot stand and begin throwing stones over a 50 kwacha, over a 100 kwacha. That can never happen. So there is need to equip young people with adequate tools which will make them succeed. And when they succeed, they make it in life. They can't leave homes and say, okay, let me go on the streets and begin causing chaos. Let me go where there are campaigns and begin causing all this chaos. I think that cannot happen. That cannot happen. So the best thing which is supposed to be done is by equipping young people with adequate tools, adequate skills. And when that is done, you'll see that the levels of even political violence will reduce. When there is that reduction, you drive young people, the energy which they have, to sectors which matter the most. This government should understand that, one, in the agriculture sector, for us to see agricultural emancipation, or for us to see more goods being produced in the agriculture sector, young people are needed there. For you to look at the health sector and look at how are we going to improve the health sector, young people need to be there. You look at almost every sector, the energy sector or any sector, there is need to channel the energy which the young people have to sectors which matter the most and sectors which will develop the country. But when you look at what is happening now, you look at who the Minister of Technology is, the old person. You look at who the minister of this is and so on. So you begin analyzing things and say, okay, what plans is the government having for the young people? What plans is the government telling the young people to say, we are going to do this for you in the coming years, or in 5 years, in 4 years, in 3 years? What kind of skills is the government giving to the young people? Because you need to understand that young people need to be looked at, because they have the human capital and the human power to make sure that as a country we produce more. So when you look at the kind of policies the government has put up for the young people, the kind of policies which each sector is having, you find that it is not favoring the young people. So for us in the Citizens First, we have proposed that in each and every industry, you cannot have an industry which is not dominated by the young people. You need to have an industry where you are going to look at to say, okay, who is heading this industry? We are going to look at young people. If this person who is from UNZA, a person from CBU, a person from this university, has the skills to complete that program or that course they are doing in those schools, automatically they have the capacity to run industries. Once we give them those chances and those opportunities, automatically things are going to be moving in favorably.
Okay. You can also participate on lunchtime chat. You can simply send a text message or give me that call somewhere around 13, I think somewhere around 13:30. You can simply give me that call. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. We're looking at the role of young people in Zambia's development. And in the studio, I'm joined by Lazarous Simukoko, who is the Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson coming from Citizen First. So that's the topic we're looking at. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. Remember, we're also live on Facebook, so you can simply send a text message on Facebook and I'll be more than glad to read your text message. What do you think should be the role of young people when it comes to the development of this country? So now getting back to you, Lazarus, I think you've talked about a number of things that probably the current government is not really doing for young people. So what do you think is the role of the youth in Zambia's development?
When you look at every developmental aspect in the country, we can't look at it by sidelining the young people. In anything you are going to mention, what challenges is the country facing? We are having expensive minimum. We are having expensive fuel, expensive electricity units, expensive everything. You look at which sector is supposed to be improved. It's either the sector is supposed to be improved for young people, or the young people are the ones which are supposed to improve the sector. Minimum is expensive. Why is it expensive? This government, we advised it to say, do not export maize. But the Minister of Agriculture was on record to say, the government and the Ministry of Agriculture will not rescind the decision of exporting maize. We advised them, you cannot export maize.
When you say we advise them, who advised? Is it the
I
young
did,
people?
the political parties did, the young people in political parties did, different presidents in political parties did the same, and different members of parliament did the same. Of course, those coming from the opposition and the independent. We advised them to say, you cannot begin exporting maize, because when you look at FRA, it is a strategic organization. It is a strategic agency which looks at what amount of maize is supposed to be consumed by the people of Zambia. Because when you look at FRA, it stores maize for people to feed on in the next 2 years, 3 years or so. In times when we have drought like this, the maize which was produced in 2021 could have worked to reduce the prices of minimum. The maize which was produced in a year like 2022 and 2023 could have worked in times such as this. But they went ahead and exported the maize, meaning there is a shortage of maize at FRA.
So could that be as a result of not having a youth in that position?
It has that aspect, and failure to listen, because the government doesn't listen to what we say or what they are advised on. So it could be, one, the government doesn't listen because they are annoyed, or they just want things the way they want them to. They are not open to receive any advice, any person telling them to say, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Again, apart from that, the young people in different villages or different farms, were advised by the president to say, we want you to grow soya because we have found for you a market for soya in Congo and China. Young people had the aim of producing maize. They said, no, we can't produce maize because we have been told that there is a market which is going to buy soybean. Now, when time came, young people told the government to say, we have now managed to produce soya. Can you please give us the market or come and get the soya we go and sell on our behalf? Because that is the promise which you gave to us. President Hakainde Hichilema, the Ministry of Agriculture, denied that we are not going to buy soya. Meaning,
is it on record that they denied?
They denied. The people they didn't buy soya from the farmers.
Yeah, the question is, was it on record that they?
Yes, they were asked to say what is happening to the soya and so on. Then they said the people who have produced soya should find their own market. When initially they were advised to say there is a market which you have found for you. Meaning, what did that do to the developmental aspect of a young person or any farmer who had to produce soya? It simply meant that if that farmer was supposed to produce maize, that farmer was stopped to say, don't produce maize. There is not enough market for maize. Instead, the market which you have found is for soya. So a lot of people didn't get involved in producing maize. Instead, they got involved in producing soya. Hence, we have more soya in the country because that soya is yet to be sold. And since the government decided that they are not going to sell that soya on behalf of the people who produced, it had to delay the person who produced the soya. Because you know that when you are producing, you need to look at the profit. How much profit do I make? This money which I have spent. Others went into banks to say, I need to get a loan so that I produce soya because there is a market. I'm going to have a profit. And when getting loans, they said the government has promised that there is a market for us. So we have come to you as a bank, give us the loan. And since when you give us the loan, we are going to pay back because once we sell our soya, we will give you back the money. What happened? They didn't sell the soya. And the banks are now after the young people who got loans from the banks. They are after them to say, you need to pay. And the things they listed as collateral, the banks have taken possession of them. What has that done? It has made the young people to lose assets. It has made young people to lose the little things which they had. Now, are you telling me that a government which is progressive about young people, a government which is progressive about its own nation, can make such decisions? Absolutely not. Today as we are speaking, ZCCMIH should be the holding mining company or mining running institution which is supposed to be pumped in with enough resources because young people are there. You, Madam Taizia, when you're on the program like this, you need to be thinking like, while I'm here, I've got shares in Mopani, I've got shares in KCM, I've got shares in different mining companies. Even if you get paid, you know that, okay, this money which I've received, I can use it in this way and this way because I'm going to receive dividend from where I've bought shares in a mining company, in a certain company.
Okay.
But
hold your thoughts.
Okay.
Yes, let me allow a call. You can simply send a text message. We lost that caller. So you can simply send a text message in line with our topic of discussion. We're looking at the role of youth in Zambia's development. So you can simply send a text message and I'll be able to pick up your calls somewhere around 13:30. So for now, you can just make use of that line that's appearing on your screens. Send a text message and I will read it right here. In the studio, I'm joined by Lazarous Simukoko, who is a youth, of course, a very, very confident when it comes to issues affecting the young people. So you were just talking about ZCCM as well?
Yes. So what I was saying about that is, when you look at the decision which the Ministry of Mines as well as the government have made, there is Delta Mining Company Limited, which has come on board to take the shares of 51% at Mopani. And ZCCMIH will remain with 41%. Now, what has that done to the mining company? It simply means most of the dividends, the people who are going to be benefiting the most is the Delta Mining Limited Company, which will be benefiting. So when you look at that, they are going to have that holding. Now, as a government asked them, what kind of benefit are you going to bring on board? They have said, we are going to pump in 1.1 billion US dollars into Mopani, and Mopani will begin running. Now, that 1.1 billion US dollars, are you telling me that the government can fail to raise that, give it to ZCCMIH, and begin running Mopani to its full capacity, and allow people like you to buy shares? Even if you have a 1,000, you have a 2,000, you need to have shares there, so that you know that at the end of the day, I'm going to receive a dividend. But this government is saying, no, by investing this amount in Mopani, which is 1.1 billion US dollars, the government or ZCCMIH will be receiving less dividends of 41%. And Delta Mining Company will only be receiving 51%. Now, what has that done? Because there is no such a thing where you say, no, by virtue of you investing this amount in this company, you are going to be having a holding of 51%. It doesn't work that way. You have a building, a very beautiful house, a very beautiful house. Then there is a main house, then there is also a servant quarter. Then a person comes and say, there is no offense at this place. There are no pavements at this place. I'm going to build the offense. I'm going to put the pavers. When I put the pavers, I put the offense. I'm going to spend this amount. And when a person who will be renting comes in, I'll be getting money from the main house, and you'll be getting money from the servant quarter. When you are the owner of the plot, can that work for you? Of course it can't. Because you are the owner. And that person, by putting the offense and putting the pavers, shouldn't give that person the ownership of getting money from a main house, and you are receiving from a servant quarter. This is what is happening at Mopani. And we need to tell them to say, in the Constitution of Zambia, Article number 210 prohibits that. It says, when acquiring a government or a parastatal asset, or any asset which is run by the government, there must be fairness, there must be equity, and there must be competitiveness. There is no any of those things. And it further gives the right to members of parliament to repossess such kind of an asset, provided it wasn't rightfully aimed. We are telling the Delta Mining Company to say, once we form government in 2026, we are going to repossess the mining company, because there is no genuinity in all this. Because the government should be able to know that running a mining company shouldn't make you fail as a government when you just need to pump in 1.1 billion US dollars. You can't give 51% holding to Delta Mining Limited Company. It can't work that way. It can't work that way. We are going to repossess the asset. When we repossess the asset, we are going to make sure that there is fairness, there is equity, and there is competitiveness according to Article number 210 of the Constitution of Zambia, which was amended in 2016. Because we can see that since the time of privatization, I've never seen such kind of a deal taking place. Then where are you placing your own people? Why can't you allow young people to buy shares? Why can't you allow Zambians to begin running the mining companies and pay off the debt which we are having? All that hasn't been put to effect by the government. So the affairs which the government is saying that, no, we have got this agenda, we are going to develop the country, we have got this agenda, we are going to develop the nation, we have got this agenda, young people are going to be living a decent life, it's not there. Because you can be able to tell by the decisions which they are making at this moment.
So do you think in the mining sector there is need for a youth? Because you've mentioned to say once CF forms government,
yes,
you will repossess, is it the affairs of,
yes,
is it you're going to, I don't know whether you're planning to get rid of Delta Mining, Delta Mines, or what plan do you have? And the question again is, do you think even when the other government is formed, young people will be given that mandate to just run the affairs of the mining sector?
Now, when you look at how we elect leaders in the country, we need to look at what plans is this political party having for Zambia.
Don't you think the UPND had the same plans for the youth?
No. They promised something else and they are doing something else.
So don't you think that would still happen?
No. So
another leader,
the UPND government came, the UPND political party came into government with a 10-point plan, saying we are going to create jobs, we are going to reduce unemployment, we are going to make sure that the exchange rate is $1 US to 10 kwacha. Those are the plans they had. But when they never explained to you, how are you going to make sure that you end unemployment? How are you going to make sure that you stabilize or you make sure that the currency reduces to 10 kwacha per dollar? They never explained to you. And we were so hyped with the social media posting, you see me bad, you just shout bad, employment, you know, the man never explains to you, the man never explains to me how he will develop the nation, how he will make sure that there is employment, how there is all that kind of a thing.
So
but for us in the citizens
first,
first.
the question is, should you blame him? Because you just mentioned it, say he never explained to the young people. So should you blame him?
No.
According to him, people voted for him because of the promises that he made. So should you blame him? Because you don't understand.
We need to blame him very much. In fact, if it's blaming
why
him,
not blame the same, you, the youth?
For saying you, no, he was saying like, no, look, when you are a father at home, you promise a child while you are leaving work.
Yes.
You are coming from your home, you promise a child that when coming back, I'll bring you Angry Lion, I'm going to bring you chips, I'm going to bring you majigis and so on. Then you are by the door. The child runs to you and say, where is my jiggies? Where is my Hungry Lion? The things you promised me in the morning. Are you going to blame the child that, no, you should blame yourself because it's you who trusted me that I'm going to bring.
You
now,
know
I want to bring it into
yes.
this in our context now.
Yes.
In our context, we never told Zaka Indechirema that promised ABCD. We never told him. He just stood there and said, I'm going to end this. He was even holding meetings with the Jerabos at his residence and saying, no, I'm going to begin giving you mining licenses so that you begin running mining companies. He did that. Now, for young people, they said, this person has a plan on how the country will be run, how the young people will be looked at. So we give him a vote, just like the way a child will permit you to go for work. Go for work. Okay, where is my jiggies now? The one you promised. Now, the young people or the citizens or the Jerabos are now asking, where are our mining licenses? Where is the minimum you promised that a 25 kg will be sold at 50 kwacha? Where are the things you promised the people of Zambia? They are not there. So now, are you going to say we blame you, the youth, because you are the one who voted for him? No, we voted for him, or people voted for him because of the promises he made. So for us in the citizens' face, when we say we are going to create employment, you are asking us, how are you going to create employment? We are telling you to say, we are going to make sure that we begin producing our own things in this country by creating industries. Once you create industries, which are producing clothes, producing finished products like drinks, producing many things which this country doesn't produce. When you look at history again, you look at in the early 1970s, we are assembling our own vehicles. Today we are admiring Rwanda to say it assembles vehicles, it makes its own phones. In this country, in the early 1970s, we were able to assemble our own vehicles in the country. We were able to produce our own bicycles in the same country. You know those bicycles which were written Mekako and so on? Mekako were produced in this country. When you look at the shoes which we are putting on, most of them were produced in this country. So when we tell you to say we are going to create industries because we have learned how history has been. So we are saying we are going to create industries. These industries, they won't just be standing there. There are people who are going to be working there. Who are going to be working there? They are young people. When you do so, we are going to embark on a 24-hour economy where each person will have 3 shifts. Madam Taiza, even you, when you know that I'm only going to be at KBN from 12 up to 13 or morning to 20:30, it doesn't matter because you can still ask to say, okay, I think I'm going to do other duties while I'm home. I'm only going to run a show maybe around 13 and so on. So you can go to a certain industry. You are the manager there. You are running in that industry and say, okay, this industry which I'm running, I only need to work here up to this time and I can report to other duties which I have. So we are going to create a 24-hour economy, which will allow people to be working in 3-hour shifts, where you work from morning if it's 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. You can work 8 hours at KBN, the other 8 hours you work somewhere else, provided you have the capacity. Because at the end of the day, you need to decide, will I be able to manage this, will I be able to manage that? Kenya is working in line with that. Namibia is working in line with that, where creation of a 24-hour economy. What does that mean to a young person or a young youth or a person who is a youth out there? It means if there is one industry which has been created, which is producing shoes, which is producing drinks, which is producing clothes, there will be a decision. How many people can work in this industry? If it's hundreds per shift, it simply means one industry will create 300 jobs because 3 shifts of those people, it simply means that 100 which is working will move away. Another shift will come in. And that is how mining companies operate. They are shifts. That is how hospitals operate in this country. They are shifts. So when you say, in this country, we run a 24-hour economy, where you see people working at KCM, after they extract the copper, they won't leave the copper there and say, we have ended here, let's go, we have knocked off, we are going to continue tomorrow. No, there's another shift which walks in. Once that shift walks in, they are going to begin from where the other shift ended. What is that doing? It will create productivity. Once productivity is created, we are going to have enough goods both for consumption and for export. When we export, what is that answer giving you? The kwacha to dollar will stabilize. When it stabilizes, it will be easier for you even to buy a vehicle from China at a cheaper cost. Because at this moment, if they are saying that no, this vehicle from there is $300 or it's $200, it's this amount of money which you are supposed to buy this same amount or this $1,000. When you convert your kwacha to that dollar, you can't even say I'm going to buy a vehicle because when a dollar today is at 23 kwacha. So you see, we are telling people the things we are going to do, how employment will be created, how the exchange rate will be maintained, how these all aspects will be run. Meaning we have a plan. Ask Yakainde Ichilema, ask him, which plan did you have for Zambia? Watch his interviews when he said we are going to create employment.
Okay, let's pick up this call. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. Hello, good afternoon. You're through to lunchtime chat. Good afternoon. You're through to lunchtime chat.
Is that the program which is going on television?
Yes, live on KBN TV.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Rafael Mulembe. I'm calling from Quito Rescos.
Okay, what's your contribution?
My contribution is that I'd like to thank the young man with the initiative explanation. I think it's important that we should listen to what one says. The way he has analyzed the situation of what is prevailing in this country, if you followed him very well, the way he's explaining things, to me, I can see there is a tangible reasoning in the way he's explaining. All what is important is to empower the young man and the youth who are listening, so that his explanation is taken to actualize what he's saying. Indeed, it's very important that the youth to be empowered. And the people can work in the same line, the way the nurses work, the police work, and whatever, in shift. And these things are going to work out. I think I want to thank him once more that his experience is excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Remember, you can simply give me a call. Always ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. Or you can send a text message. The number is appearing on your screen. We are also live on Facebook, which is KBN TV. Hello, good afternoon. You're through to lunchtime chat.
Afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
I'm Brian.
Yes, Mr. Brian Choma.
I just want to ask you, anyway, speaking quite all right. Now the only thing I'm just against with him, because he's saying I see some people, some youth have taken loans from the bank. They have to produce evidence, because I haven't yet any youth or any person to come and to complain about soybeans that no, what, yes, even me, I planted soybeans the other year. I was expecting, but government told us that no, they cannot buy. They knew even if they bought that soybeans at 11,000, at 11 kwacha per kg. I'm telling you, even last year or this year, people could have gone flat out to plant soybeans, because maize was, everybody was getting a burden to plant maize. So don't say that, you'd say I've got, even us, yes, we did plant a lot of soybeans, but farming is gambling. Have you seen now? There's drought. Where are you going to cry from? You cannot cry, no, the government or what? Yes. You're talking nicely, Mdala. I've got whatever you're talking, analyzing there, but where there is credit, give credit. We know that you want to get political mileage, but please, where is whatever?
Thank you very much. Okay, so remember, you can simply give me that call or send a text message in line with our topic of discussion. We're looking at the role of the youth in Zambia when it comes to development. And in the studio, I'm joined by Lazarous Simukoko, who is the Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson from Citizens First. And you can send a text message. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. So this one says, we need people like you come 2026. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. Hello, good afternoon. You're through to Lunchtime Chat.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. You're through to Lunchtime Chat. Okay, we lost that caller. Remember that you can send a text message in line with our topic of discussion. We are looking at the role of young people in Zambia's development. Ensure that you reduce the volume on your TV set. Hello, good afternoon. You're through to Lunchtime Chat. Okay, so a number of text messages here, and this one here says, one thing Mr. Simukoko should understand is that we as Zambians do not have the expertise for now to run mines. That's why we need partners to provide financial capital, because we do deep mining, which is a very expensive and requires huge capital investment, of which for now we cannot sustain. This other one here says, great submission by this inspiring young leader. Having such minds which are visionary oriented is a blessing to the nation. We will support the vision, Mr. Simukoko. This is coming all the way from Mpika, and the person who sent that text is Samuel. This one says, that is good story, Mr. Lazarus. Just talk about free education. What's the meaning of free education? But many people are suffering because of no jobs and everything is very expensive. But the government saying free education, we can eat free education. Just see what's happening in our nation. Open your eyes, Mwebantu. Okay, so remember, you can simply send a text message in line with our topic of discussion. We're looking at the role of young people in Zambia's development. You've talked about a number of things that probably young people are facing, challenges where we need young people. If you look at the young people we have in the country, do you think they have what it takes to just help develop this country?
Yes, but I don't know if I can respond to some of the calls because there are some which came as questions and so on.
Yeah, you can
So
still
there is,
respond to that.
I've forgotten the name of the second caller who was mentioning that I need to produce evidence on the people who got loans. Actually, I know one man who is also contesting in Mpika constituency, Mpika Central, that is Samuel Kabungo, and myself. We got loans from the bank.
So you're not speaking from
I got the loan to say, since the government has said they are going to buy soya, it's not a loss because that loan can easily be financed once the sales are made. As I'm speaking today, the soya I'm talking about, some of it I gave it to my family members, they are eating, some of it to my friends and so on. And now there is need now to look for ways and means to finance the loans which we got, which is quite a challenge to most of the people. Then another person came in with the aspect of mining companies, because we have no expertise who are Zambians to run the mining companies. I would advise the person.
Like it requires a lot of capital.
Yes. I would advise the person to say, yes, we agree. It requires a lot of capital. But ZCCMIH is like the government. So the government can actually pump in money through ZCCMIH, which is 1.1 billion US dollars, which the same Delta Mining Company Limited wants to pump in. Once that happens, it will be easier. Then I would also want the same person to research about the person who is the president in the Namibian Chambers of Mines. He is a Zambian, Veston Malango. Veston Malango is running the Namibian Chamber of Commerce. Are you telling me that if we went to Veston Malango today and tell him that, Mr. Veston, I think today we have a challenge in the Zambian mining sector. We would want you to come to Zambia, leave the Namibian mining sector. We want you to come here, you help us to set up a panel of even 10 people or 11 people. There is money as the government. This is the money we are having. We want you to begin running Mopani with these people. Are you telling me that given the same salary, given the same benefits which Namibia is able to give to him, he can manage to fail to run the mining companies in Zambia, which is not true. Today in this country, we have got mining schools at CBU and different schools like Notek and so on in the Copper Belt. Are you telling me what do those people learn? When did CBU came into operation? For a very, very long time. So when you get those people, they might not have the expertise and so on. Get people like a person from Delta Mining Company, because that person knows how it is done. Tell the person, we want you to show our people on how we can go about mining, on how we can do about ABCD. Once you train a Zambian to run a mining company, it will be very easy. So it's better you spend more money on training your own people. Are we going to die like this, saying no about no, since we cannot run the mining companies, let's give them, even if it's for free, let's give them. You don't know how to run your own house and say no, since this house I can't run it, I can't build my own offense, I can't provide enough renovation, so let me just give it away because I can't manage. Are you going to do so as a person? No. Then we are going to ask your thinking capacity. How are you able to think? What plans are you having for the country? What plans are you having for your own apartment? So we still have people in this country who can run the mining companies. And then there is somebody who said, no, we want to work with people like you and so on. I'm actually contesting in 2026. I'm contesting in 2026 in Kanyama constituency as MP. I'm going to contest.
As what? As
MP?
MP?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I'm going to run as the MP in Kanyama constituency within Lusaka. So it is quite a challenge for what young people are facing. You look at the challenges which young people are facing. You look at the advantages which they have been given to. There are no advantages. Let's be honest. The other person came in with the aspect of free education. Look, let's be sitting down and be thinking and analyzing things properly. When you look at free education, you can say there's free education, but for me, I'll tell you, there is no free education here.
Okay.
The money...
Yeah,
sure.
All right. Hello, good afternoon. You're through to lunchtime chat.
Hello, good afternoon, madam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Kitwe.
Okay, what's your contribution?
Hello?
Yes, we're getting you. What's your contribution?
Yes, actually, I've got a very, very important contribution, madam.
Go ahead,
That
sir.
young man we are seeing. Hello?
Yes, we're getting you.
Please, thank you so much. My comrade there, that young man we are seeing, I don't know if it's Mr. Simukoko or whatever. I think he has got some information to tell us, especially on the issue of mining. He has pointed out a very, very clear, important message that he has conveyed to us. And all along we have been wondering, since the University of Zambia opened in somewhere 1969 or 67, somewhere there when it was opened, and that school has got school of
Mines.
and it has trained a lot of graduates. Some of the graduates are even working in Australia, wherever they are mines. And they have given a very live example, like Mr. Malambo in Namibia, as he said. And of course, even here in Zambia, we have got engineers like Dr. Sixtus Mulenga. You mean these people cannot run our mines? No, we have to be thinking positively this time. Because if we continue saying, no, we don't have expertise, we are not going to progress. We have to own our own mines. We have got the people and the capacity. All we need is the government to have positive attitude towards our mines. We have the personnel. Of course, we don't have the money, but the government can provide and we can run our own mines. Not the way people are saying we can't have expertise. People, no, we have.
Okay.
Challenge to the government. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming through. Okay, so just a few text messages here, even before you get to probably respond or continue with just what you were explaining. So a text message coming from Facebook. This says, great points by the inspiring young leader. This is coming from Samuel Mami Kabungo. That's on Facebook. And this other one says, following, so inspiring. The guest is so energetic and inspiring to our young generation. This is from Samuel Mwami Kabungo. Of course, I think this is the same person. And this one says, how long will it take you to revive industries? 1 year, 2 or 3 years? And other text messages here says, bravo scenes, these are young men and visionary leaders we are looking for. We support you, young man. Continue, young man. This other text here says, my brother, you are doing very well. Good job for youth. Thank you. Keep it up, young man. You have the support. This is coming from Mebo, all the way from Ndola. Young man, good explanation. Keep it up. We are behind you. Samuel Msonda from Lusaka, Zambia. Remember, you can simply send a text message in line with our topic of discussion this afternoon. We're looking at the role of the youth in Zambia's development. And in the studio, I'm joined by Lazarous Simukoko, who is a youth, of course, aspiring to be an MP in the coming elections. You were talking about free education.
Yes,
you said it's not free.
It's not free. So when you look at free education in the country, it's not actually free. When you analyze it very well, without free education previously, you were spending less compared to what you are spending now. So that money you are looking at as school fee, you are no longer taking it to school to pay for that child. You are taking it in the shop, where there is milimi, which is expensive, where there is cooking oil, which is expensive, where there is everything which is expensive. So instead of you taking that money to go and take it to school, getting that money to take it to school, you are no longer taking it there because they have said it's free. But on the other hand, there is an increment on the other side, meaning it has not done anything good to a parent. Because free education, we need to look at it from the aspect of the parent. How much are you spending per month? Are you telling me that before 2021, we are spending more compared to what we are spending now? Parameters will not tally. You are spending more now compared to what we are spending previously. And previously, with no free education, you are spending less. With free education, you are spending more because the government hasn't prioritized the reduction on the commodities or basic needs which the people of Zambia want. There is another question which came through, saying how long will it take us to revamp the industries in the country? We are going to deal with the existing companies at the moment, of which we have got the NRCZ, or the nitrogen chemicals of Zambia. We know that in this country, we import fertilizer, we import farming inputs. So we are going to pump in enough resources there so that we stop procuring fertilizer from abroad, so that we begin producing fertilizer within the country. When we do so, we are going to give farmers adequate inputs to begin producing more, because you need to know that for industries to be set up, there must be higher production. So when we produce enough fertilizer, which we can even be able to export to countries like Zimbabwe, countries with like Malawi, once we are exporting, we are gaining forex on the other hand. But this side again, when that nitrogen chemicals of Zambia begin running to its full capacity, a lot of people will be employed there. When we start from there, we can now begin saying, okay, what have we produced the most in the country? We have got mango in this country. Do you know that mango juice, which we take in this country, doesn't come from Zambia? Instead, it comes from South Africa. We have got pineapple juice. It's that we don't produce. We don't produce. They come from other countries. So you set up a company and say, we have got a lot of mango. We put mango in refrigerators when it's in abundance during rain season. Right now, there is no mango. We put it in abundance in refrigerators so that we like it's frozen, so that we can be able to continue with production of drinks even in seasons when there is no mango. Once you do so, you are going to create industry, and the setup can't even be that huge. No, you just leave the space. The machine is there processing the mango. You add chemicals. The juice is produced. Once it is produced, the person who is languishing in poverty in streets, the person who is not having food to eat, at least to have somewhere to step and say, I think I need 100 kwacha or 2, even a 300, to go there and be able to start working. The person will begin working effectively, and that person will have money to even support the family, support his or her own dreams. But today, what are we having in government? No. Let's bring in Delta Mining Limited company is coming with 1.1 billion US dollars. 1.1 billion US dollars. Is that the money you are telling me President Hakainde Hichilema can fail to raise and pump in 2 KCM? Because I wonder sometimes with HH. HH thinks like the money is protecting is his money. No, we pay taxes, you pay taxes. The money which is at the Bank of Zambia, it's not the money for HH. It's not the money for any minister. It is our money. So when we demand today that we want cheaper fuel, subsidize the energy sector, we want cheaper mini meal, can you do ABCD? We are talking about our money. Now, President HH wants to run as if he's using his own money to run the affairs of the country. No, it's our money. So we want things to be improved in this country. You can't be saying, no, we can't subsidize the energy sector because it's too costly.
Okay, which sectors do you feel needs young people? Like which sectors? Maybe
every sector needs young people. There is no any sector which you are going to look at which doesn't need young people. Be it the energy sector, it will need young people there. Be it the agricultural sector, it needs young people because look at the population of Zambia. Look at the population of Zambia. More than 60% of this population are the people who are between the ages 0 to 35 years. 0 to 35 years. And you look at yourself and say, really, we are the majority in this country. What is our benefit? Why are we even living in this country?
We've seen, I'm sure you've seen that the Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts, Elvis Nkandu, he is not a youth. Yes. Probably he was born in 1971. Maybe I must just say he's probably 53 years old.
Yes.
Do you think if we look at the young people in the country, we don't have anyone who can be appointed as Minister of Youth?
HH is not serious. That's the only answer I will give you. HH is not serious. The people who are even in government are not serious. I don't know what even makes them to even feel like they are ministers, or others to make them feel like, no, I'm now a president. Because how do you even sleep? You hear people complaining about certain things. How can you even sleep? Because panga ndafe ngoli mufyashi walafiro kulalata okabana babalelira sana because tabali. Now you are a president, you hear people complaining about minimum. It doesn't even worry you. You are even sleeping, waking up at I'm a president, waking up at I'm a minister, waking up. It really pains, to tell you the whole truth. It really pains. But when you look at how the country has been run by the UPND government, it has not been run effectively. And that is why our plea to the government is that you are holding those offices temporal. Make your name there by making sure that you contribute to the people who are to put you in those offices. Because you can't tell me that Elvis Nkandu is the only person who can be a Minister of Youth and Sports. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All of us know here. And you look at, for me, it's really...
What's the right age for someone to be appointed as Minister of
If you can make it to Parliament, you can make it to any position in government.
So my question is, what age do you think going forward, or probably, let me put it in this way, once your party forms government, what would be the age of a youth minister?
A youth minister, I think it has to be in a definition of a youth. It has to be in a definition of a youth. And you know that it's somebody who is 35 years below. Yes, so it has to be within the confinement of that age range. So even when you look at the UPND itself, the person who is running the youth wing is not actually a youth. You look at Liswaniso. Liswaniso is not a youth. It's not a youth. It's not a youth. Now, can it surprise you to see President Hakainde Hichilema appointing the odd person that you are going to run the Ministry of Youth and Sports? It shouldn't. It shouldn't, because it really pains a lot. And when you look at what young people are going through today, you look at the things which they could have been doing. Go to Nigeria. We can say, yes, Nigeria is suffering and so on. Look at the young people who are successful in that country. Look at young people who are successful. You know, Emmanuel, you watch comedy, I think, sometimes. Sometimes I also watch comedy too.
What do you think the current government has done for the youth that you'd probably just say, I think I'm proud because they did this for the youth? Because you've said a number of things which they haven't really done right. But in this case, what do you think they have done right from the time that they formed government? For
me, to be honest, I will tell you that it's a zero-sum game. To be honest, I will tell you that. But
so they've done nothing for the youth?
Definitely they have done nothing. I think if you have got some things because you are the one who reads the news sometimes, provided there is any report which you carried out in a certain area, I don't want to be political here. Provided there is any news you carried out from any area and then you feel like skipping that, you can tell me that no, they have done ABCD for the youths and the youths are benefiting in this and that. You can tell me, but for me,
what's your take on youth empowerment? Do you think it's being utilized for its intended purpose? Under a minute.
No. Under youth empowerment has been taken to CDF. I think you are talking about CDF in that vein. So let us look at how CDF has been working. Just recently, we have had cases of cholera in the country. They say the cases of cholera, you tell me that if that amount which they mentioned was to be applied adequately, it can benefit, it couldn't have managed to fight the disease of cholera. And you look at the kind of, empowerment they are talking about. They are saying form cooperatives. Now, the members, they say, you can't trust your friend when it comes to running a business. You are going to have a plan to say, by this and this and this, I need to have this kind of a profit. By this time, I need to have that kind of a profit. You can't say, just form a cooperative. And when President Hakainde Hichilema was making a statement, he was saying that actually, there have been more businesses that have been registered at Pakra compared to what they have registered in the previous 20 years. And then I sat there, I started laughing and said, does the president know that his statement has prompted people to register businesses, but they are not functional, operational? Because people were told, form cooperatives, form cooperatives. They went ahead and started registering businesses. The question the president should have asked himself is, are the same businesses you are talking about operating? Because even me, I've got a paper, I have a consultancy paper, it's called the Umba Consultancy firm. Let Pakra review that. Is it operational? It's not. It's not operational. I have got that consultant. Is it operational? Absolutely not. I'll tell you that I'm not running it, but the papers are there. So it is the same case also for the rest of the people. They have registered businesses which are not functional. Since those businesses are not functional, it doesn't give any minister or any person the iota to say, no, they are businesses which are operational. No. So when you look at youth empowerment works in phases. You look at the phases. You need to deal with the training. Are the people we are giving money capable of running a business? If not, take them to training. This is how we run the business. This is how we do it, and this is how we are supposed to make money at the end of the day. You call them, what business can you run? I can run ABCD. Okay. Are you able to run? Then it should be supervised and monitored. And apart from that, you know that the number of street kids is increasing. Actually, I'm going to table this proposal to the Central Committee when we sit in the next meeting. We want the disaster management and mitigation unit to be incorporated with the street kids, because that is disaster itself. Let the government be working hand in hand with orphanages, getting the people in the streets, so that the government should be able to take them to school. That is the meaning of free education. You get the street kids who are in these streets. You take them to orphanages if that is possible. Or the same DMMU, because it's a disaster management and mitigation unit, and we do know that street kids is a disaster. Those people need to be under that circle, so that the government begins taking care of them. So that by the time they are saying that we are now about to employ or to deploy the police, we are about to take these people to begin training as soldiers. We want to employ this as teachers, this as health personnel. Such kind of a percentage of the street kids should be able to be put there, so that there is a reduction in the number.
We've really run out of time. What would be your closing remarks? But before that, I think let me just read a few text messages here. This one says, Mr. Simukoko, I'm very impressed. You have my support. Go ahead, my brother. This is Peter from Ndola. This one says, hi, I'm Enoch from Lundazi. We are following the program. You are doing the good job, my brother. May God bless you, and we are supporting you. Stephen Zulu from Ndola. This is quite a long text. It's easy, Simukoko, to say to say the economy is running. It takes hard work to develop the nation. China was poor, but how long did it take for China to develop? Development is a process. People are getting licenses from artisanal mines, others loans. So it's quite a long text message here. This other text says, the problem is that we as a country, we are not specialized in anything we can be proud of. Mines are not ours 100%. Your closing remarks under a minute, because
okay,
we've
so
run out of time.
I will incorporate the closing remarks with the long text, which is there.
Only have a minute.
Yes, I only have a minute.
Yes.
So the person said China didn't improve in 1 year. But I will tell the person that China had direction. If I can ask the same person who sent that text, is what are you expecting the government to do next year? What are you expecting the government to do tomorrow? What is the economic plan for the government? What is the focus? There is no any of that kind. And without direction, you know that you'll be just moving at the same position. We know that direction is more important than speed, but we need to have direction. When is Zambia expected to be running its own mining companies? Is it in 2020, 25, 2026 or any year? There must be all that. And for me, I can say the young people have gone through a lot in this country. The young people need to be supported in any way possible. And not only the young people, every Zambian who is living in this country, because everyone is connected to that young people. If you are a person living in a certain place, you have got people who are calling a young person. That is the person we are referring to. When you are a parent where you are seated, when we talk about young people, you are actually referring to your children, your nieces, your what? Those are the people we are referring to. So this conversation hasn't only been about the young people, it has been also about you, the person who is a relative to those young people. What do you think you are going to leave the children with when you die? What do you think you are going to leave the children with when you are no longer there? How are they going to be surviving? Such are the things we are proposing to the government. Such are the things we are saying we are going to do once we form government. And those are the things we are saying this is what we need to do at this moment, because almost every Zambian is languishing in poverty.
Okay, thank you very much, Lazarous Simukoko, for making an appearance on Lunchtime Chat. It was very informative.
Thank you so much. I think I need to thank you for everything. Without you, I think we couldn't have had this conversation.
All right. Okay, so we've come to the end of our Lunchtime Chat. This afternoon, we're looking at the role of young people in Zambia's development. And in the studio, I was joined by Lazarous Simukoko, who is the Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson that's coming from Citizen First. And I must say thank you to each and every person that sent in text messages, each and every person that tried to call. We appreciate the effort that you made. We'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time. Good afternoon, and continue watching KBN TV, the finest television. Good afternoon.